Hello, it's Tom Donald from the London Contemporary School of Piano. Today, we're going to explore the importance of rhythm in jazz improvisation. This is a really important topic, so you do need to get on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, to get our free resources kit, which has some backing tracks, the backing tracks we're using today, to help you improve your rhythm in your improvisation. So do head on over to our website. To get our free resources kit, you just have to put your email address in, by the way, and then you have to read your email, because there'll be a link in that email where all of the important information is. And don't lose that link, because it's always been updated with new stuff in it. So, all right. So we're talking about rhythm today. Rhythm. I'm not going to talk much about chords. In fact, I'm not going to mention chords at all. We have other videos that talk about that. And I'm not going to talk about what notes to use in much detail when we're improvising. We have other videos on that, and you can watch them. We're going to be talking about rhythm alone, because rhythm is what lets a lot of people down when they're improvising jazz and swing. And we're specifically looking at that type of rhythm today. That's the groove we're looking at. And it's going to be really, really helpful, these approaches. There's some very powerful strategies, and they're very simple strategies, which is great. The example song we're going to use is Fly Me to the Moon. I thought it would just be a good one. We're going to swing Fly Me to the Moon, and we're going to improvise on it. I'm going to play the chords in the left hand, but the most important thing we're exploring today is the right hand lines. Again, we've got other videos on this song. You can just check those videos out if you want to learn about the left hand chords and what to do with the left hand. We've got other material for that. So rhythm, rhythm, rhythm. The thing that pianists love to ignore. Rhythm. Rhythm is so important. It's what brings your playing to life, and you really need to think about rhythm. So here's a concept I want you to think about. The eighth note. Now in England, I think we call them quavers. Quavers, eighth notes, I don't care what you call it. They really matter. I quite like the eighth note terminology because we fit 8 notes in a bar, in a 4/4 time bar, and we're going to add a swing to it. So if I get the Fly Me to the Moon backing track, I've got it running at about 140 BPM, which is just a good practice tempo. You could go a bit slower, you can go a bit faster, and our resources kit has it at a couple of other tempos. I'm just going to lock my swing rhythm, and I'm just going to play an A minor blues, but I'll play some other notes as well, I'm sure. I'm just going to lock the swing rhythm into that rhythm. That's my eighth rhythm, my eighth notes. So that's the context. Now, you could just start practicing a bunch of scales with eighth notes with a swing, and going into different octaves. Just on the white keys, if you want. Add some blues to it. And then another nice strategy is make it a bit bumpy, so it's not so even. It's still in time, but it's not so even. It's not so classical. It's a bit more like this. Now that's the key to really good swing improvisation and blues improvisation and jazz improvisation, is just getting that really nice locked in eighth note rhythm. Now there is more to it than that. There are some nuances now we need to discuss, but that is our foundation, and that foundation is really, really important. So I'm going to tell you about a rule, a principle that I really suggest you think about when you're improvising swing. And it's all or nothing. So you're either playing the eighth notes or you're either playing nothing. What a lot of students make the mistake of doing is they play eighth notes and then they get a bit tired, fatigued, or they just need to collect their thoughts, which is understandable because it's going pretty fast, right? And so what they do is they make the mistake of playing quarter notes, crotchets as we call them in England, quarter notes, whatever you want to call it. But quarter notes, they're sort of halfway house and they don't really sound very good in this situation. They sort of sound boring. I'll show you what that sounds like so you know what I mean. So I've got my eighth notes, then I've got my quarter notes. Eighth notes, quarter notes. They just sort of sound like nothing, don't they? I hear a lot of students do that when they improvise. Maybe that's you. And then you get frustrated. You're like, why do I sound so terrible? Oh, it sounds so boring. No, you don't sound terrible. That's the wrong language. We're going to use musical language here. You don't sound terrible. You're just using quarter notes. And they're boring. So we're going to ditch the quarter notes. They're gone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our foot taps to the quarter notes, or on the second, on the fourth beat of the bar. We might click in quarter notes, but we don't play them. Because they just sound like we're plodding around. Da, 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 da. That's the natural beat. It doesn't need to be highlighted. So we either play double of that, which is eighth notes, or we play nothing. Nothing sounds way better than the quarter notes. So we just kill the quarter notes. They're gone. It's all or nothing. It's eighth notes or nothing. And that's how you get your breath back. You play nothing. And you be confident about that. You just lift your hand and you literally play nothing. And let's listen to the difference it makes. Wow, it's such a transformative difference, isn't it? The silences are actually quite magical. Notice that bit where I left that longer silence. I held off even more. So it's not about going too fast and not being able to take breaks. Taking breaks is good, but the wrong sort of break is just playing those plodding quarter notes when instead we should just play nothing there instead. So now I'm going to be a bit more creative with my gaps and my pauses. Now that we've established that clear rule, I'm now going to spend longer periods of time playing nothing at all. And when I resume my eighth notes, I'm not just going to resume my eighth notes at the beginning of the bar on the first beat. I'm going to resume my eighth notes halfway through the bar or at the end of the bar in more awkward, well, not awkward, but less predictable places. So I have these stream of eighth notes and then I've got absolutely nothing. And then streams of eighth notes and nothing. And then I have longer phrases and absolutely nothing. And then shorter phrases, and then absolutely nothing. But there will be no quarter notes. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, lots of fun, isn't it? So that's a really good strategy. I quite enjoyed that longer phrase that came out near the end. It just was like, I just felt like carrying on. It's like extending the piece of rope. But yeah, it's all or nothing. So another rhythmic technique to add to that. And for many of you, that's all you need to bring your solos to life. You just do that. That is the one reason I can guarantee you for many of you is why your solos are sounding boring, because 95% of the students we hear, adult students we have at the school who play jazz with us, and who are like, oh, I don't know why my solos lack sparkle. It's usually just those quarter notes they're throwing into the solos, unintentionally. And then when someone points that out, oh, just remove that. And by the way, that applies to every facet of your playing. If there's something you think sounds boring, in fact, I'm gonna just tell you now, stop telling yourself that you sound boring. Don't use those words. Oh, I sound boring. Oh, I sound uninteresting. Don't use those emotive words, because they're not real words. They're not real musical words. Find out what it actually is that sounds boring. And see, in that case, it's the quarter notes. We removed them. Sort of sounded fun again. It sounded interesting. Brought the whole thing back to life. So anything else that you're doing in your soloing that might be sounding boring, I bet you we can find out what that is. And that's why coaching at the LCSP at our school is transformative for so many students around the world. You can visit our website to find out more about that, or to get the backing tracks in our free resources kit so you can have some fun with this. Because you want to be doing this at the piano. You don't want to be doing this on YouTube with me. You want to be doing this yourself on the piano. That's the joy of it. Okay, so we're going to add triplets to our swing. And triplets are where we just sort of take it up a notch and it gets faster. So we are now designating 3 notes into one beat. One da 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 da. And then we can combine that with swing, the 8th notes, and we get this. Now, a really good way, like I would call it a beginner's guide to triplets, is don't use too many of them. Just have them as little turnarounds in the phrasing. So we're still focusing on the 8th notes. The 8th notes are still the king here. We're adding a couple of da-da-da-da-da-da, a couple of triplets in there. I'm just doing this on the A minor blues just to demonstrate. But I'm not really going into notes today. It's just about rhythm here. I've still got my silences. The nothings are really important. Remember, don't let any quarter notes drop in there later. You don't want that. So here's a cool exercise without the backing track, by the way. 1, 2, 3. This is a really, really good rhythm exercise. Click on the 2nd and 4th beat of the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. With your left hand. And in your right hand, play some swing. Just some open swing on an A minor blues. Remember, the nothings, the gaps. Just keep the left hand ticking. Triplets. Okay, let's drop in that backing track. Here we go. Wish me luck. Now that bit, towards the end where I was like doing that thing and you're like, oh, what was it that you were doing there that sounded so good? That bit? Yeah, that bit. You know that bit. That was triplets. This is a good little trick. So triplets are faster. So a real good trick with triplets, because they're faster and you've got to move quicker, just pick 3 notes from the scale, the blues scale, or any 3 notes you like the sound of, and just loop them around. And that makes a great climax for your solo. So you're going in swing, leave a few gaps, you're still going in swing, and then loop around a few triplets. There's a nice little party trick there. You can have that one. Okay, so to finish off with, I don't know why I do this to myself. We're going to go up to 160 BPM. Remember to visit our website to get the free resources kit or get the coaching that you need to help your piano playing. Because, I mean, the more times I do this over YouTube, I realise there's only so far I can take you on this wonderful platform. But I have all the pleasure in the world doing it for all of our students and followers around the world. So thanks for your support. I'm going to need your support right now as I go through Fly Me to the Moon, 160 BPM with triplets and with quarter notes. And then when I don't know what I'm doing, silence, because silence is golden. Let's do it. Now get to practice.